Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over the Springfield XDM 9mm with a threaded barrel. So this is the 4.5-inch slide with a little bit longer barrel, obviously sticking out there for suppressor use. So I've had this one in for a long time, and we'll get into why you haven't seen it quite yet. But we put a lot of rounds through it. It's been very reliable, very shootable. I've been pleasantly surprised with it for sure. So what we're going to do next is get into some of the details of the pistol, and then at the end, we're going to let you know what we think of it overall. Start down here on the grip and going over the features of the pistol. So you can see we have a very good texture here on this one. Now the XD pistols, that was one of my criticisms for those of you guys that watched the review I did years ago now of the 40 subcompact. It was a little bit slippery in the grip. Now this one absolutely is not at all. It has very good checkering up here on the front as well as on the back strap here. Now these back straps are actually interchangeable. This is the large version. It comes with 3 of them as you get the pistol in. It comes with the medium on there. There's also a small, and this is the large. I have very large hands, so the large just seems to fit my hand better. But either way, the checkering and the grip that's built in there, excellent ergonomics, and it's also just fits your hand well, and you can adjust it if it doesn't. On the right side of the pistol, we have a magazine release. It's also on the left. We don't have a slide release, though, or a slide lock. So it's not fully ambidextrous, but does have the ambi mag release. So releasing that mag, you'll note that there is 19 round capacity. That stays standard. Flush fit magazine, no fancy extensions or anything like that. So that is huge. You get 20 rounds of 9mm in this pistol as it comes from the factory with no extensions needed, and very high quality stainless steel mags. Of note, these will not fit in your XD pistols. So XDM and XD pistols do not have interchangeable mags. So just something to keep in mind for those of you that may already have XDs out there or have XDMs and are considering going either way. Moving to the rear, we have this thing right here, and this is our grip safety. Now this is sort of a point of contention out there on the forums and many other places. So essentially what happens is if you don't push this grip safety in, the pistol will not fire. So we'll show you how it looks here. Pressing the trigger, nothing happens. However, if we depress that, it will fire. So again, the pros of it is that you have an additional safety on the pistol. Some people really like that extra safety. They don't like, depending on just the internal firing pin safety and the trigger safety, which incidentally, if you don't depress this piece right here in the middle, it will not fire. So you can see I'm pulling on it, but not depressing that, and it won't fire even if I push down the grip safety. But if we push them all down again, it will fire. Now, the downside of this, I guess, is if you had a really awkward grip down here or up here. I don't know how you'd have to grip it to not engage it, but if you did and it didn't engage, then it wouldn't fire. Now, some people really like that, particularly for reholstering. So take that for what it's worth. Again, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I don't mind it either way. I've never, in all my years of shooting either 1911s or XDs, not engaged it. Now, all my 1911s have memory bump safeties, so I can see on like a GI style how you wouldn't do it. But on this pistol with the ergonomic grip that just drives your hand right up high, not sure how it would happen. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but very unlikely. A lot of XDM owners out there will really brag on the trigger of their pistols, so I tend to agree with them that it is a very good trigger out of the box. So if we'll show you what it is, there's a little bit of slack up here up front, but once you hit that wall, it is a very crisp break for a polymer trigger, for a polymer gun rather, and they have the minimal reset trigger, they call it. So a very short reset, and then you press again. So the only time you're really gonna have that slop is on your initial shot, or if you fully let the trigger out. But once you get back there, it's crisp, light, breaks right at 4 and 4.5 pounds on my trigger scale. So really one or the other, depending on where you measure it at. but very nice trigger. Definitely helps you get those hits at distance. Last thing I want to point out on the frame is we have 3 1913 style slots up front for mounting lasers, lights, anything like that that you want to put on there. They'll work just fine. I've used Streamlights and Surefires on here and had 0 issues, so good to go on that front. Moving on to the slide, on the back of the slide here, you'll note this little cocked indicator that we have on the rear. So what that is when you actually cock your striker, it sticks out. What do you know? It is ready to fire. When you pull the trigger, it depresses and goes away. And of course, as the pistol cycles, it will come right back out for the next shot. The actual slide of the pistol is made of forged stainless steel. It has a melanite finish on there, which is a very, very good finish. A lot of firearms companies use it for their slides. When you combine that with the stainless steel underneath, it's virtually indestructible in terms of corrosion. So you have stainless steel, then the melanite, that's a very corrosion resistant finish. It also gives it a very good surface hardness on there to resist impact or anything like that, or scratches. And it's holding up well. The XDs have been out for a while now. They're pretty much, at least as far as I know, all the non-stainless ones use this same finish, and it holds up well. It's got a good reputation for durability, so you certainly can't complain about the forged stainless steel slide with the melanite finish. One thing that's been absent so far in this video is me shooting this pistol with a suppressor. Of course, it does have a threaded barrel with 1/2x28 threads up front. Nice thread protector that does come with it, but I'm actually waiting on a stamp. I've been waiting on it since last October for my 9mm pistol suppressor. Unfortunately, it hasn't come yet, so I decided to just get this review out, and I'm sure this one will be featured in the suppressor review as well. But due to that, the expectation that it could be fired with a suppressor, it does have suppressor sights on there, unlike some pistols that come with a threaded barrel but have normal sights. So that's certainly annoying, but these sights are excellent. They're steel sights, and you can see they're raised up. They have nice serrations to cut down on glare as you're looking through them. It also has this nice ledge here on the rear sight for one-handed manipulations of the pistol. If you need to rack it off a table, belt, boot, whatever the case may be, very, very easy to do so. And it's actually, well, it has that nice ledge. It's not sharp like some of them out there, so it's not going to like cut you or anything like that when you're sitting and it's digging into your side. Those of you guys that have carried these types of pistols know what I'm talking about, so not an issue there. It's kind of dehorned, if you will, yet still has that ledge. The last thing I wanted to point out on this slide is that we do have a loaded chamber indicator. You can see here it sticks out slightly when you put a round in there, or a dummy round as in this case. And one thing that's also nice about this pistol that I should point out now is that it does not have a magazine disconnect. So with the round in the chamber, and you can see it's indicated there by that little piece sticking up, you are able to fire the gun. Disassembly and maintenance of the pistol is very straightforward. I actually have a video on cleaning and lubing this very gun. If you guys are interested in that, check it out. First, you're going to drop your magazine. You're going to ensure that it is unloaded, which it is. No magazine, no bullet. At that point, we're going to lock our slide to the rear. In order to do that, of note, you do have to depress your grip safety. You're going to rotate this lever here, which is your takedown lever, up. And at this point, your slide will come off. So no need to pull the trigger for disassembly, which is something I know a lot of folks like. We're going to remove our guide rod and spring, and note it is a metal guide rod. And at this point, since we have the threaded barrel, we have to actually take the thread protector off and remove our barrel. Now this barrel here is a match grade barrel. As you can see, it's indicated right there on the side. This is also a cold hammer forged barrel. It does have that melanite finish on there. And you can see that feed ramp in there. It's polished. It's very, very wide for reliability's sake. We've had 0 malfunctions of any kind with this pistol, mostly running, of course, the Minuteman munitions through there, but we've also ran some Hornady tap rounds, as well as some Federal HSTs, 124 and 147 grain. 0 issues at all to speak of. While I have it apart, I wanted to show just how beefy this locking block is in there. So it's very, very large rail surfaces, the metal rail surfaces on there. So it's going to lead to good durability. These pistols are used a lot in competition, so a lot of high volume shooters out there, and they've reported a lot of good results there. So reassembly is the opposite of what we did to take it apart. I'm going to put it back together just like this. Again, all the details, guys, if you want to see this in very, very boring details, is in that cleaning, lubrication, and disassembly video. So put our thread protector back on, and we're done. I realize a lot of you guys don't have access to gun shops that carry XDMs, whether they just be small shops in your area or you don't have gun shops at all in your area. So just to give you a quick size comparison, we're going to compare it here to our Glock 17. This is sort of the ubiquitous full-size 9 out there on the market. One thing that is different for sure is that the XD is a little bit heavier. So you're going to come in right at 29 ounces with the magazine unloaded on the XD. Of course, the Glock's going to be a little bit lighter than that. But in terms of size, pretty similar overall. Of course, with the threaded barrel, it's going to give you a little bit of extra length out there. I believe it's 5 2/8 inches with that threaded barrel on there. But other than that, pretty similar. You're going to be a little bit longer here in the grip as well due to those 2 extra rounds. And one difference that is there, you're going to hear it talked about on the forums for sure, is the difference in terms of bore height. So I'll try to line them up pretty even there. You can see the XDM has a little bit higher bore, but unlike some of the other pistols out there that have a high bore access, on the XDM it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, particularly in 9mm, because the slide is heavier. So that extra mass up there helps cut down on that increased muzzle flip that you'd get otherwise from a higher bore access. Nowadays, in 2016, there's sort of the big 3, if you will, that you read if you read forums or gun magazines or anything like that. And in terms of polymer Wonder 9s, you're going to get the Glocks, the M&Ps, and then the XD, XDM, or Mod 2. So one of the variations of the Springfield Armory pistols. So these are made in Croatia, not made in America like some of the other ones out there, particularly the M&P and some of the Glocks. That's one downside that sometimes you'll see folks bring up out there when discussing which one to get. But it's a very, very sweet shooter like you guys have seen throughout the review, so that does have something going for it. It's been 100% reliable. It has that match grade barrel in there, so it's going to be pretty accurate, probably more accurate than I could be. So those are certainly all advantages of it. Also, XD pistols used to be a lot more expensive than they are today. So over the years, I suppose it's been competition, if nothing else, has brought the price of these down. So I was looking today, as I'm shooting this review in August 2016, I was actually seeing this very pistol with a threaded barrel for somewhere in the $480 to $550 range. So years ago, the XDMs were 600 plus. So that's a good sign for consumers out there looking to pick one of these up. Excellent ergonomics, like we talked about, good trigger, excellent magazine capacity, which we certainly like. There are aftermarket stuff available for it, aftermarket sites. As you guys saw throughout the video, we were using the holster made by RKBA. So that one actually accommodates a light and has the hole cut in there for the suppressor to go through, or the barrel I should say, to go through. So there are aftermarket things out there available for them, aftermarket support. There's different trigger kits, all that stuff that you get with the M&Ps as well as the Glocks. So it's a competitive option in my opinion. The one sort of big sticking point, like we already mentioned, is going to be this grip safety. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't mind it or you like it, then you do. But I suppose I'll let you guys decide on that. If you guys have any other questions about this pistol or anything else we discussed here in the video, you can always post below in the comment section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.